Next topic, stakeholders. You need to know within it what is a stakeholder, the objectives of different stakeholders, and then the social media and stakeholders. A stakeholder is anyone who can have an influence or affect a business. It can be internal, which means within the business, or external, which is outside the business but still having an impact. They're affected by the actions of the business or can affect the actions of the business themselves from the way they act. Key examples, managers and directors, the owners, or sometimes shareholders if it's a company, employees, customers, suppliers, creditors, competitors, and then your public, your society, your trade unions, for example, your pressure groups and that as well. Another one could be your government too. Now, each stakeholder obviously has their own objectives in relation to the business and how it operates. And they're clearly going to want as well what they can get out of the business. Owners or your shareholders, if it's a company, they want high levels of profits. So they're going to want the business to strive to cut their costs, maybe sometimes charge higher prices, but we know that conflicts as well. High dividends, high returns back from the business. They want to have a good corporate image and the business to be growing in the long term. The main kind of goal is that profit-driven aspect. So you could be asked like a knowledge, explain, point. It could be analyse the key objectives. So 4 to 10, you can't be asked evaluation on these. Employees, they want job security. They want good working conditions. For example, like well lit, nice heating, a safe environment to work in. Maybe staff room. Maybe some businesses have looked at Google another time, like free lunch and that within it, which is quite rare, but a lot of private driven big corporations have that. They want high pay, they want a reward for their long work, they want maybe the opportunities of training, development, and also promotional opportunities coming in there too. Another key stakeholder group would be your customers. They want obviously a high quality product or service for a reasonable price, not always low but reasonable and fair. And they want really good customer service. So like they don't want to be queuing at tills for a long time, they don't want to be treated not nice by the staff, and they want a good choice. So they always want that choice when they go into your store. You want to make sure that you need to make sure you have the products to meet their needs. Your trade payables, your creditors, there are people you owe money to, and they want obviously from you a quick payment. They want to be paid on time, on the agreed time, or else obviously that's going to cause an issue. Your banks, people who lend you money, or groups that lend you money, they want really paid back and they want paid on time each month, or whatever it is, and you'd be able to make those payments, or else you're going to end up facing bankruptcy. Pressure groups are external, things like Greenpeace, Friends of the Earth, maybe local pressure groups, not too, but they want to make sure you're meeting their needs and their interests. So it could be like ethical trade and care for the environment, green objectives, and they will lobby against you if you're not meeting those needs, and that can impact your reputation as a business. So you need to make sure that you're keeping them satisfied, not always happy but satisfied. So they're going to want their goals met by you. Local community, external as well. They want maybe employment to be provided locally, to then have that ripple effect of more spending in the local economy. They want the business to behave in an environmentally very good way, looking after the local environment. They want the business to be operating in a socially responsible way as well, and not having major social costs in the local community for their activities, for example noise or water pollution and that. And that would be key goals. So providing local employment would be a big thing, but also then obviously the environmental costs, social costs, or being socially responsible, so paying people fair wages, not for their work, and treating them well. The last one is your government. They want you to pay taxes annually each year, and want to make sure that you're paying the fair amount and being honest in your activities with that. And they want you to make use of your resources that you're using, being efficient in that, providing, for example, employment and training to people. As I said, that means less benefits have to be paid by the government. It means they're paying more tax. Those who are employed, the business, if it's doing well, is paying high tax too. The other big thing they would want to make sure is you're meeting legislation and the minimum requirements of legislation. For example, consumer protection law, health and safety requirements, paying fair wages, employment legislation, all of that would be important within these. And there are just a few examples to come through. The business has to decide if the stakeholder or shareholder approach. Now, usually most businesses are going to take the stakeholder and try and keep as many of these stakeholder groups as happy or as satisfied as possible. Some businesses could be completely shareholder driven, just prioritising the profit and meeting those needs. It's important to note just managers, directors, they are an employee within the company or within a business. Usually if the business is large, they'll have them, but they would have the same goals as the employees. The only thing added in would be maybe like long-term growth would be a big thing for them, because they want to see the business being successful. But it's important to note they're not the owners of the business, and that's a big thing. They could have shares in the business, which would mean they want profit, but that would depend on the case study. The other big thing within stakeholders is social media and stakeholders. Social media is your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram. We talked about these as examples. We looked at them then again in AS2. You need to know the benefits and drawbacks to social media to a business, to customers, to employees, for example. Obviously, to customers, it's cheaper, which is a key advantage. To the business, social media is cheaper than traditional advertising and promotional activities that would have been used, like newspapers and that. So that's probably the key advantage, and you just explain that through. It saves money, other areas and things like that. The other big thing is your brand, your visibility, target audience. You can maybe target them through Instagram, having celebrities endorse your posts and that, and attract customers in that way. The other key advantage would be maybe 24/7 contact, or more contact than normal business hours, and that can provide really good customer service. Get the chance to maybe get them feedback off them, or if there's an issue, you can deal with it quite quickly. And that then promotes customers being happy, loyalty. They'll keep coming back to the business and they feel connected with the business. The issues are, one, you have to commit a lot of resources. If you're going to do social media properly, you maybe have to hire new staff, new team for social media. You maybe have to pay to have your ads promoted and become more well known, or celebrity endorsements, and that is costly. So it's not free, social media, at all. The other key disadvantage is, like, unless you maybe have someone checking the account several times a day, you might miss something, or it could go global. Negative comments could be shared, and that could impact your reputation if something about your business is shared online, and that can obviously mean less customer loyalty, customers going away, negative reputation that coming in. And the other key thing would be hackers can log into accounts, post things that could damage your reputation as well. So that's your key things from a business point of view. Customers wise, what's the benefits? You can maybe find out information about sales and that happening, new designs and that coming in from whatever the particular businesses you're following. So maybe more choice, you compare with other businesses, but it could save you money. The other big thing is you can feel heard and be assisted. You can maybe respond to polls that a business has if they're asking for opinions and market research, which is also a good thing for a business to be able to use it in that sense. But assistance as well. If you're having issues, you can go onto their social media pages, maybe contact them that way. And that means that compared to that traditional 9-to-5 contact, you're getting more contact. Issues for, I suppose, there's no guarantee of getting that assistance. It mightn't always be regularly checked, and you see it happening, especially for smaller businesses that might have social media teams or might have the time to respond. The other thing is that some businesses might allow the opportunity for market research in that via social media, so you mightn't always get the chance to be heard in that too. Sometimes customers find it like information overload and too much information, and maybe mute certain business pages and don't want to follow them, and that can be an issue coming through too. The last one is the employees. Why is it good to use social media? You can use LinkedIn, which is like a recruitment social media page, and make connections, share ideas, and that can give you more opportunities for like promotions, but potentially to other businesses looking to hire you, which is a good thing. You can secondly follow your business online. I give you the example as a class when I was teaching this, like I follow the school social medias online, but I might see something about someone I teach or someone I know in one of my year groups that I'm in charge of, and I might have knew that happened, or they won something at a fest, for example, or sporting tournament, and I'm able to congratulate them. So there's things that you might know are actually happening, but because of social media and following them, you get to find out a bit more, and that keeps you up to date and opportunities and things. especially in like larger businesses. Disadvantages with this, you have to be careful as an employee using social media. If you post something online you shouldn't, or something shared of that, it could damage your reputation. The business might let you go if it's very serious, and I've mentioned examples in the past. We're talking about a concert in Belfast and a video being shared and someone losing their job. So you just have to be careful what you're putting on your social media. Firstly, the other one would be like you have to make sure social media doesn't affect your productivity and things, because obviously there is that addictive nature to social media, and that's a risk as well. But that's the key things with it. And I think more so you'd probably get it from social media from a business point of view or a customer point of view, but they are allowed to ask from an employee point of view as well.